Hello, I'm Pastor Aaron. Welcome to Redeemer Lutheran's Midweek Devotion. Thank you for listening. This Sunday at our church in Victoria, we're concluding a series I've titled, Come, Follow Me. Those are Jesus' words, and our series has been about discipleship. This weekend, our theme could take a page from Dr. Seuss, and it could be, Come, Follow Me, and oh, the places you'll go and the people you'll see. That's really what happens for Peter, James, and John on the Mount of Transfiguration, and for all of the disciples in Jesus' Passion. And we're about ready to celebrate that. But listen to what St. Luke tells us in chapter 9 of his Gospel. About 8 days after Jesus had said this, that's predicting his death and resurrection, he took Peter, John, and James with him and went up onto a mountain to pray. As he was praying, the appearance of his face changed, and his clothes became as bright as a flash of lightning. Two men, Moses and Elijah, appeared in glorious splendor, talking with Jesus. They spoke about his departure, which he was about to bring to fulfillment at Jerusalem. I guess the title Transfiguration could be a little bit misleading. It's not that Jesus changed his figure. It wasn't that he changed his form, but his appearance did change. And St. Luke noted those appearances. James and John and Peter all got a glimpse of their Lord and their Savior in his divine glory. The other Gospels tell us that they were terrified at what they saw and fell down on their faces, and somehow yet they were able to recognize Moses and Elijah talking with Jesus, perhaps by the topic of the conversation, maybe even from a greeting. They had followed Jesus, and look what Jesus showed them. He revealed to them his glory. It was important that they had that vision, that because of what was going to happen soon, because of what Jesus said 8 days earlier, that he was going to go to Jerusalem and he would be handed over to the leaders and they would mock him, falsely accuse him, and put him to death. That wasn't something that the disciples were real comfortable hearing. But Jesus then also reminded them that on the third day he would rise from the dead. They would continue to follow Jesus down from this mountain. And yes, they would follow him to Jerusalem, and they would witness those terrible things happen to their Lord and Savior, and it would cause them great grief and turmoil in their hearts and minds until they would see Jesus raised from the dead. And then that joy would return. Sometimes we read these words and we think, wow, how blessed these men were. They got to see Jesus in his divine glory, and they got to witness the events of our salvation. But when Jesus issued that call to you, come follow me, he's also leading you to go to some pretty great places and see some pretty wonderful things. Because through the eyes of faith, you see everything Peter, James, and John saw, and you will witness the acts of your salvation, the suffering of Jesus and his resurrection with your eyes of faith. You also, like they, will be his witnesses. In fact, Jesus says you are his witnesses because you have seen these things through the eyes of your faith. And one day, because you have seen these things and you have believed what Jesus says they mean for you, you will see even greater things. You will see Jesus with your own eyes in glory when he comes again. You will live with Jesus in glory and see the things that he has prepared for you. This event of Jesus' transfiguration is a foretaste of all of it. And it assures us that Jesus' his work of salvation would be carried out to perfect completion, that he really would rise from the dead. And that's why Moses and Elijah can be there on the mountain with him. But it assures us also that he is going to come back in that same glory to take us to be with him. So this is a wonderful way to end the season of what we call Epiphany and then prepare for the season we call Lent, when we walk with our Savior to all those places of his suffering and yes, then of his victory and resurrection. Have a great week.